So we're talking about difficult relationships today. We're talking about the volcano. I think of this guy right here when I think of the volcano. Mild-mannered, 1 minute, and not so quite mild-mannered the next. Wreaking havoc. It may be a temper, explosive temper, anger issues, however you want to define them. But a volcano can be very difficult and challenging to work for, with, or especially to live with. And so we want to take some time to explore this person and how we can make the best of being in a relationship with a volcano. As we always do, let's just remember the three underlying principles of why we're going through this series. And underlying principle number one, it's not about changing people. It's not about changing the volcano. Um, you can't change the volcano. Let's leave that part, changing them, to the professionals, behavioral health. Um, it is about maybe helping you manage this relationship, helping you cope this relationship. And so the tools that we're going to give you aren't necessarily for the volcano, they're for you to help you with the volcano. And then number three, the best that you can do is the best that you can do. Do your best in living and managing life with a volcano. Remember Romans chapter 12, verse 18. Apostle Paul says, if it is possible, in other words, that there might be some things you cannot control. He says, as much as it depends on you, take care or assume responsibility for the things you can control. Live at peace with everyone, which is the goal. Some things we can, some things we can't control. So let's dive in right now and let's explore this volcano. First, the top 5 qualities of a volcano. Number one, they are, as a volcano is, explosive. They're kind of 0 to 60 faster than a Porsche. 1 minute they might be calm, next minute hell is breaking loose. It's explosive anger. And so that leads us to kind of number two, is that they tend to be unstable, unreliable, because they are so unpredictable. You never know what or when something is going to set them off. And, sometimes the timing's just, it's never good to see somebody go off in a fit of anger, but sometimes the timing's really bad. Number three, they're disproportionate. In other words, sometimes they will give a 10 reaction to a 3 problem. For example, somebody leaves the door open and, they just go ballistic because the AC is being let out the front door. It's like not the biggest thing in the world, but their reaction is kind of over the top. So they tend to be disproportionate that way. Number 4, their anger is out of control. It's almost to the point where they can't stop. They're I don't want to say possessed, but it's out of their control, and they just moved to this realm, kind of with the green eyes and the Incredible Hulk. He's taken over, if you will. And number 5, just to be real, hey, you know what? Volcanoes can be scary because a lot of times it gets physical, it gets aggressive, and it can get destructive. So being with a volcano during a volcanic episode can be scary. So those are the top 5 qualities. Let's move over to kind of under the hood and understanding volcanoes a little bit. Number 1 is that there's a spectrum with like all these personalities. There's a spectrum of volcanoes, and so there's some folks who are tempted or prone to losing their temper. And then there's others where their anger is maybe a significant mental health issue and destructive to relationships, and they need help. Everybody needs help, but person on this side of the spectrum, they probably need to sit down with a professional and get some counsel and some treatment on this issue. So there's a whole spectrum. Number 2 is that volcanoes are generally aware of their issues. Some of these personality types, you can be blind to it. No, I'm not a critic. I'm just telling it like it is. Or, I'm not a wet blanket. But, a volcano knows they're a volcano. It's hard to hide that evidence, if you will. And number 3 is that, a lot of the, now I'm not a professional, but some of the reading that I've done says that environment plays a significant role in the formation of a volcano, if you will. In other words, volcanoes tend to grow up around other volcanoes. Number 4, volcanoes, they feel two things after a volcanic episode. One is relief, maybe because the anger's out and they feel a little bit better because of that release. The other thing they feel, and this is number 5, is that they often feel remorse. or embarrassment based upon that episode. And it goes back to, you can't hide, your actions as a volcano. They're evident. If there's a hole in the wall or something's broken, I mean, it's you can't hide that. And so there's often remorse on the other side of a volcanic episode. So that's kind of understanding going under the hood a little bit. Let's now talk about 5 ways of dealing with or coping or managing a volcano. Number 1, as always, we want to maintain our composure because it might be easy to get sucked in to the anger or temper of a volcanic episode and kind of tit for tat. We don't want to do that. Maintain our own composure, speak in a calm voice to kind of subdue the situation. Number 2 is know the signs if there are any. Are there triggers that this, your explosive spouse or boss or coworker that triggered them? Are there certain actions that they do? I mean, for the Hulk, his eyes turned green. That was the sign. If his eyes turn green, get out of Dodge. Okay, so if there's signs, to kind of maybe, moves to the third one here, is to stay safe. Remain safe because this is such a dangerous, of all the personality types, this one might be one of the more dangerous. You need to recognize, hey, maybe I just need to get out of the area, so I'm not going to get caught in any of this crossfire. So stay safe. Number 4 is avoid trying to fix the problem. Sometimes we get into, oh, you're so angry, let me fix the reason for the anger, and that will make it better. Listen if they want to talk to you in the midst of their explosive anger, but avoid trying to fix the problem. And then number 5 is suggest that they get help. Of course, you want to choose your words. You want to choose your timing very carefully. I mean, to scream at somebody saying you need help in the midst of a explosive anger episode is probably not going to help. But maybe afterwards or in a downtime to approach them and say, hey, this is becoming an issue, and maybe you do need to talk to behavioral health. And we have an excellent behavioral health team, Sergeant Williams and Major Good, 6th Brigade, and they might be a valuable resource to you, your squad, your station, your family, if you work with a volcano, because it is a challenging personality type to live with, work with, be around. I close, as always, the best that we can do is the best that we can do, and it's Romans chapter 12, verse 18. If it is possible, as much as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. I hope this helps, and I encourage you and trust that you will have the best day possible and that you will walk in peace.